Good morning, I'm Elton Robinson with your weekly grain and oilseed update. The soybean harvest has begun in Brazil's Mato Grosso, the country's largest producing state. A government agency reports that yields are mixed due to irregular rainfall during the season. Reported yields range from a low of 9 bushels per acre to as much as 52 bushels per acre. Mato Grosso's Institute of Agricultural Economics reports that about 30% of the crop in Mato Grosso is rated in poor to very poor condition. Sorriso, the largest soybean producing municipality in Mato Grosso, produces about 2.2 million acres of soybeans. Its production is expected to be down 15 to 20% this year. This year's Mato Grosso soybean crop is also considered one of the more expensive one grown in recent history. Soybean and Corn Advisor's website estimates that 35 to 38 bushels per acre will cover the cost of production in the region, meaning many in central Mato Grosso will not cover their cost this year, and many are hoping for a good second crop to perhaps provide that margin. On the other hand, the latest report from USDA's World Supply and Demand Estimates puts Brazil's soybean production at 100 million metric tons, or 3.674 billion bushels, which is still a record and still unchanged from last month. That's about 250 million bushels less than the U.S. crop just harvested. The Brazilian soybean harvest should wrap up by April. And now for USDA's weekly export report for the week ending January 21st. Wheat exports of 311,000 metric tons were up 21% from the previous week, but down 7% from the prior 4-week average, with Japan, Colombia, and Mexico as primary destinations. Corn exports of 650,000 metric tons were up 14% from the previous week and 22% from the prior 4-week average, with Japan, South America, Saudi Arabia, and South Korea as customers. Sorghum exports of 100,000 metric tons were down 5% from the previous week and 36% from the prior 4-week average. The destinations haven't changed in months, with China taking 99% of the shipments for that week and Mexico the rest. Rice exports of 43,000 metric tons were down 43% from the previous week and 7% from the previous 4-week average. Customers included Haiti, Japan, Honduras, Mexico, and Canada. Soybean exports of 1.3 million metric tons were down 16% from the previous week and 10% from the prior 4-week average. China took 764,000 metric tons, followed by Germany, 132,000 metric tons, Mexico, 116,000 metric tons, and the Netherlands. Soybean meal exports were down 54% from the previous week and 43% from the prior 4-week average, with Mexico, Ecuador, Canada, and Bangladesh as primary destinations. Soy oil exports of 8,000 metric tons were down 80% from the previous week and 82% from the prior 4-week average, with Mexico as the primary customer. Beef exports of 12,000 metric tons were reported to Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, Mexico, and Canada. Pork exports of 18,000 metric tons went primarily to Mexico, Japan, China, South Korea, Canada, and Hong Kong. Well, that's it for this week's report. I'm Elton Robinson. See you next week.